About a year ago, I posted a review of about a dozen heart rate monitors and came to the conclusion that the Garmin Heart Rate Monitor Pro was clearly at the top of the list. And a few weeks ago, Garmin actually made a few notable improvements to that heart rate monitor, and they called it the Heart Rate Monitor Pro Plus. And as you might guess, yes, it is still arguably the best heart rate monitor on the market. So in this video, we'll talk about what's new, what they've changed, and more importantly, why you might want to skip out on this all-new Garmin Heart Rate Monitor Pro Plus. Okay, the Heart Rate Monitor Pro Plus hardware is largely the same as that previous version of the Heart Rate Monitor Pro, with the exception that Garmin has actually changed, and I'd say improved the way that you actually change the battery on this device. Previously, with the Garmin Heart Rate monitors, you'd actually need to unscrew and dismantle the device to get to that coin cell battery. And now on the Heart Rate Monitor Pro Plus, you just need to remove the rubber exterior and then actually twist off the cap counterclockwise to access the battery. And this is significant, not only because it's easier, but also because many people were noticing water damage after changing the batteries on the previous model. And that was because of the way that everything came back together around the O-ring within the housing of the device. So big kudos to Garmin for both listening to their customers as well as engineering a smarter solution. And I would say, in addition to these ever so slight hardware updates, Garmin also released a few software updates for the HRM-pro Plus. But here, it is very important to note that all of these software updates are also available on the previous model, the HRM-pro. And remember that the HRM-pro has been able to provide running dynamic information. So, that's stuff like running power, which I actually think is pretty valuable. But, other metrics as well, like stride length, run cadence, vertical oscillation ratio, and ground contact time, all of which, I typically haven't found all that useful in my own personal training. But this series of heart rate monitors has also been able to store heart rate data directly on the device, which can be extremely helpful in a few scenarios. For me, when I'm swimming, a wrist-based heart rate monitor is typically not all that accurate. So it's nice to actually store that data on device and then actually sync that data after my swim workout is over. But I would also say that syncing your heart rate data can also be useful in situations like martial arts, where you really don't want to wear a watch, or when you're doing something like rock climbing and you don't want to wear a watch. You can just basically start your watch activity, put it off to the side, and when your heart rate monitor comes back into contact with your watch, it'll sync all of that data over. But in addition to the heart rate monitor syncing and the previous running dynamics, the Heart Rate Monitor Pro Plus has also added pace and distance data from that heart rate monitor strap. And I know some of you guys are probably wondering, why would I need that? Wouldn't I just get that GPS data? And maybe need is the wrong word here. I should have said want probably, but having pace and distance data coming from the heart rate monitor strap can be helpful. For example, if you're running on an indoor track without access to GPS, or even if you're running on a treadmill that's not extremely accurate. And it's probably a good idea just to remind you again that all of those software updates are rolling over to the HRM Pro. So I would say the main differences between these two devices really is just that minor hardware tweak between the way you change the batteries. So, if you do have the HRM Pro, I hope that you don't feel like a huge desire to upgrade. I will say that, there are a few more reasons that you might want to put that credit card down and, hold off on buying even either of these two devices. The price of the new HRM Pro Plus is $130, making it pretty much the most expensive heart rate monitor on the market. I will also mention that it is not going to be available in Australia in its current format, just because they have some new regulations and some new laws there for devices with coin cell batteries that are easily accessed. But another reason that I might be hesitant to buy the HRM Pro Plus is just that particular feature set really might not match my particular use cases. And by that, I mean that I personally don't run on treadmills or indoors enough to really utilize those features. and I almost never dig into my running metrics like my vertical oscillation ratios or my ground contact time. Now, I do believe that there are plenty of times where I'd want a good, responsive, accurate heart rate tracking and use a heart rate strap like this one. I just don't think that you always need to pay over $100 to get decent accuracy. Now, I've tested a lot of heart rate monitors on this channel, and some of them in that like $40 range, and I've seen some great results. They do lack a lot of these, high-end features, but if you're primarily doing something like cycling, or you just don't think that you're gonna use the heart rate syncing or running dynamic information, I would probably look at some more affordable options. Now, all of that being said, if someone were to ask me today, Matt, what is the best heart rate monitor on the market? This is what I would point to, the HRM-pro Plus from Garmin. And I'll leave a link to, that video where I do talk about the top dozen heart rate monitors if you're interested in that, as well as another fun video for you to check out over here. But as always, be sure to get out there, swim, bike, run, rinse, and then repeat it all over again. And we will see you guys on the next one.